Hello, my name is Stephen Brief from Autism Explained by Stephen Brief, and I got requested a video. I don't know if they want me to say their name or not, but they had someone recently who was diagnosed with autism, and they were hoping for me to do a video on the relationship between siblings with one who's autistic and the siblings who aren't. So my situation is a bit different. I'm the oldest of my 3 other siblings, and I'm 27, and the youngest one is 7, which is a huge gap, but she's very sweet, and I care about my siblings a lot. So for me personally, as someone who's autistic, I've always seen them as some of the most important people of my life. A lot of things that I do and the person I am today is thanks to them, because I dedicated a lot of my life and who I became to them, because they're important. They're the most important thing in my life. So, and there are times I've leaned on them for help when I'm struggling with certain topics or certain things, and they've always been amazing. So they're all unique in their own ways. My sister's sweet, and I care about her a lot. The younger of my middle siblings has a very strong sense of justice and is willing to do anything he can to help people. And the older one of my middle siblings is someone I can lean on, and one of my best friends. He's been there through some of the worst of my life, and he's always been willing to help me. So that's kind of how I feel about my siblings. They're important, and they're sweet, and they made me who I am today. I wouldn't be what I am today. I probably would be in a lot worse of a situation if I didn't dedicate who I became and made sure I became a good person as a role model for them. So, but for their kind of perspective on me, it's kind of different. So they always saw me as just Steven. They love me, they care about me, but they never really saw me as someone who's autistic, which is kind of unique. I didn't really expect that when I talked to them about it. But they just, same with my uncle, they said they only saw me as Steven. They knew I was autistic, but they didn't make that change who they thought I was. So, while it's scary when someone's diagnosed with autism, they're still the same person, so you don't really have to be scared. This is for the parents too who might have just got their kid diagnosed. You might be scared, it might be difficult, but getting diagnosed, in my opinion, while I'm not a professional, I do believe it's important, if possible, because people who are diagnosed have a lot more rights than people who aren't diagnosed, because you can point at the diagnosis and say, hey, can my IEP help me with this? Because sometimes schools and other people might refuse to help someone unless if they are fully knowing they're autistic, or because people with autism in laws are specifically given rights that people who might not be diagnosed don't have. So I do think it's important to get your kid diagnosed, but like I said, I'm not a professional, and it's not up to me what you guys do. But so when a sibling's diagnosed, you have to remember that while there might be some trials that comes with it, and it might be a little different than having a younger or older sibling who's not autistic, it's not a bad thing. People with autism have their own ways of dealing with things, but autism in a lot of ways is a different way of processing problems and processing things, and it's a different way of thinking. So you don't have to be scared while it may be difficult, because they're always the same person you might have known before they were diagnosed. So this video is dedicated to them, because I try to help people as much as I can, and that's always been what I've tried to do ever since I was a kid, because I always want to help people. So I do think, like I said, that it's not a bad thing, and you don't have to be scared. And honestly, while I'm not entirely sure, I feel like my relationship with my siblings, because of my autism, has kind of brought me closer than some siblings would be, because I trust them. when I need their help, they're there for me. I mean, it may be difficult for them that I rely on them, but it's, um, they're very close to me, so. And they said it might, some of them had a hard time kind of explaining, other than me just being Steven. It's just because they never really thought about it. They never really thought, oh, Steven's autistic, so I have to treat him special, or Steven's autistic, so I have to treat him like he's unable to understand things. They've always treated me like a normal person, so. And autism is not a scary thing. Autism isn't a bad thing. It's just you're autistic. It's kind of like someone who might, identify or be a certain kind of person. It's not something you can necessarily explain, and it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just who you are. I'm just Steven and I'm autistic, but just because I'm autistic doesn't mean I'm not human, and just because I'm autistic doesn't mean I'm not Steven. So it's important to kind of know that people with autism doesn't mean they're totally different, and people with autism you don't have to see as someone who, well, they may need help in some situations. They aren't necessarily incapable of understanding things. Well, sometimes they are, but it's kind of hard to explain sometimes because autism is not a bad thing, and you have to understand that just because your kid or sibling might be diagnosed doesn't mean that they are different, and it doesn't mean that it should be a scary thing. So I want to thank you guys for being such a great community, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and if anyone else has questions, you can ask me on Messenger or in the comments. I also post on YouTube, so the comments on YouTube, I try to respond as much as possible. So yeah, thank you for the follows, and I'm excited because I might reach 100 followers by the end of this year, 2022. So that's pretty exciting. I hope I can reach it, and if you guys can share or talk to people about my videos, that would be really helpful, because 100 is a pretty big number. I mean, sometimes it might sound small and sometimes it might sound big, but imagine being in a small room and trying to crowd 100 people into a small room. It's a lot more than you think, because it's not like I have 1 million followers, but 100 is still a good amount. So I'm pretty happy, and thank you guys for being so positive so far and being a great community, because it's hard to build good communities. I've seen people who are social media influencers who might kind of like have toxic communities, have communities that just aren't great people, and while they try to have a good community, it might not work. And I mean, I haven't really had any bad comments. I've always had sweet, nice comments, so thank you guys for that. And I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a great year. I mean, here's to 2022. It's a big year. Hopefully it's a good year for everyone. So, oh, sorry, my dog just hit the lowering thing on the chair. So I hope you have a good day.